Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Wind. I've just blown in. And today we are back with more Seduce Me 2, The Demon War. Last time we finished one of Mathew's paths. We didn't get a good ending per se, but we got an ending. And yeah, we are so not doing anything for Father's Day for who would have been Tritch's future father-in-law. But it is a new day, we're back, we're gonna try a few different things and see if we can't get a slightly better outcome. As this is my second time through Mathew's path, I will be using the skip button. I am sorry for this if you're only interested in just seeing the full playthrough of this path, but for the sake of, I only have so many hours in a day I can record and edit everything. Also, I don't know if I can continue coming up with new things to say. It's just much more practical for me to use the skip button if I'm going to be doing multiple runs. So, with that said, let us begin again, shall we? I think Mathew is the blue orb.
Hold on
Hi,
there.
Kay.
Before you start the game, I need to ask you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Next. You do know this is Matthew's route,
okay, picked right. Yep, I know.
Oh, awesome.
He's adorbs. Nah, I'm good. I do not need to know about the triggers, because the triggers in this game are not my in real life triggers, so yeah, we're good here.
All right then. Oh, just so
Okay, Diana, and that was loud. And Diana was there to make one final little declaration. And now we begin our romance with Mathew again. Yay. And just like last time, she is still Tritch. Okay. Yes. And we're skipping. And we think we're hearing voices. And he's asking, what's wrong, babe? It's like, someone's saying your name. And they're not in the room. Mathew raised an eyebrow, unsure of what I meant. Why didn't he get it? Yeah, why doesn't he get it? I mean, just saying. Pay attention. What was so hard to understand? Yeah, your future wife is hearing voices in her head. Clearly she's fine. She is not crazy. I mean, well, to be fair, in a world with magic, yeah, that should be a little bit more easy to accept.
But I don't hear anything.
Yeah, that would be the magic part. I know I'm not making sense, but someone keeps saying your real name. Yeah, your Latin-y name that would, summon you.
My real name? Zakeru?
Yeah, Zakeru. That's what they're saying. Yeah, she keeps saying it, and help me. Mathew slowly rose from his seat, looking down at the table in confusion and worry. I could tell he believed me. Yay! Good boyfriend, be supportive. But wasn't sure how to respond. I've done that to my real-life boyfriend. Poor guy. Are you sure you couldn't hear it? Well, I mean, if it's magic and it's specifically targeting you, yeah, I believe he wouldn't hear it.
I'm sure.
Weird. Mathew looked up at me and walked around the table to stand next to me, and I turned my body to face him. He looked into my eyes and gently brought his hands to my cheeks.
Does she sound like anyone we know?
Maybe? No. Well, no one I know. Maybe someone you know, if they know your real name. Also, what we skipped over was the reveal of the Demon Lord kind of forcing his wife, Mathew's mom, into doing this. Mathew, ... I stared as Mathew continued to look into my eyes. What was he looking for? He is using detect magic? Maybe detect trap? Eventually, Matthew leaned in and placed a soft kiss on my forehead. What? Yeah, how dare he show me affection?
I'll look into it, okay?
Cool.
For right now, don't worry about it and ignore it. It might be an illusion or something. This place is so full of magic, so it could be that.
What? Okay, so apparently in this verse, we know Grandpa was doing magic. Okay, we know that. Cool. But, if someone is projecting their voice into my head, that's no good. Why are we not getting your bros on speed dial and getting them the fuck over here, along with their wife posse? I could tell Matthew was worried. Yes, clearly his is the face of worry. He wasn't making sense. However, I knew that we had a lot on our minds, so this was something that needed to wait. No, no. In a world where I have been kidnapped by demons and had a succubus trash my life? No, let's deal with this shit now. Maybe he just wanted me to not worry. Yeah, but not worrying isn't going to, recognize there's a problem and fix it. Still, I couldn't help but be worried about it. Matthew gently released me and gave me one of his goofy smiles. I don't think that smile's that goofy, truthfully.
Alright, well, I think that's enough work for today. Let's save the rest for tomorrow, okay?
But I want to finish working. I'm a Capricorn. If you give me a project, I need to finish it. And the skip button's back. Yay! And we're going to bed, and I'm gonna tease him, because why not? Oh, hello, sexy music. It's that kind of tease, is it? Looking up and down his body, I really couldn't help but let my libido take control. Allowed a soft moan, loud enough for Matthew to hear. He froze, turning to look at me with a blush across his face. Oh, he's making dirt face so cute.
Huh?
You should be used to this, bro. Matthew. I was nervous, but I decided to tease him. I would have to go all the way. I slowly began to strip off my clothes, revealing my underwear and bra. Matthew's eyes darkened into a lustful gaze as I gently ran my fingers over my stomach and between my breasts. We did a lot of work today, but I don't want to sleep just yet. Hint, hint, hint. I gently leaned forward and climbed onto the bed on my hands and knees, letting him enjoy the sight of my cleavage. Yes. Matthew turned to watch me slowly, not taking his eyes away from me as I crawled forward to his side of the bed. Pillow fight! Grabs him and smacks him in the face. I licked my lips, happy to know that my teasing was working. I finally stopped moving forward and got up on my knees, leaning back a bit and stretching my arms behind my head. Why not make the night a bit better with me? I almost didn't recognize my own voice. Yeah, because you're not voice acted. So this could be any number of voices reading this dialogue. However, I went along with it. He wasn't the only one in the relationship that could set a mood, even though he was the incubus. Exactly. Taking initiative. Go us. As Matthew stared, I felt a soft heat envelop my core and rush through my body. Another moan coming out of my mouth. I looked into Matthew's eyes, seeing them glow a loving but lust-filled gold. I slowly faded as the enthrallment he cast on me ran through my body, making me hotter. We're about to give you some energy, boy. You better enjoy it. Aha! Aww. He is adorable. Matthew slowly began to strip off his jacket and shirt, letting me enjoy the show before he licked his lips. He knew exactly how to respond to my teasing, and, despite it not being fair, he used his inhuman charms to make my mind melt at the sight of him. As he pulled his shirt off of his body, he held it out to his side, letting me get a good look at his chest. I felt myself lick my own lips at the sight. He's a little scrawny for my taste, but I get he is some girl's ideal. I'm just happy Trish seems to be into it.
Then, let me make it better.
That was all he needed to say before coming over to me and crawling over my body, capturing my lips with his in a heated kiss. His arms wrapped around my waist as his other hand gently slid down behind my back and gingerly held my rear. I felt my legs move out from underneath me so that he could kneel between them, gently grinding my knee against his. He smirked against my lips as he gave a playfully slow grind with his hips against my core. My mind went crazy at his teasing foreplay. He pulled me against his body, squeezing with his arm around my waist, before deepening the kiss between us. I let out a moan escape my throat and become lost in his mouth as he claimed my lips for himself. I loved feeling him touch me and hold me to him. He was the man I loved, and I wanted to give him everything, as he gave me just as much and more. Our sex became just another way to express our desire and love for each other. Aw, as it should be. Soon enough, we were both panting and moaning hotly as we made deep and passionate love. I can't see it, I'm sorry. My 39-year-old old lady brain just wants to go get him a cookie or something. Our clothes were strewn around the room, but our focus was in each other's eyes. His moans echoed mine as he kissed and nipped over my neck and shoulders. However, he'd always come back to stare into my eyes and kiss me deeply as if we made love to me, as I made love to him. I loved him and wanted to be held by him and full of him forever. My heart belonged to him, and he was a dream come true for me. My incubus dream with his 4 brothers. To feel his love for me was a blissful treasure I would cherish and experience for the rest of my life. Exactly, put a ring on it on everything. He always knew how to find my sweetest spots and knew the ways to make me buck and scream his name. We rose higher in our pleasure and ecstasy until we both ran over our limits and ever so gently floated back into the loving feeling of our embrace. Aww. Mathew could only pant and hold me in his arms, sweetly petting my hair and kissing over my forehead.
I love you so much.
Aww. I love you too. Aww. My heart fluttered at the sound of his voice. He was my everything, and to feel him in my arms made me happy beyond compare. Aww. I happily embraced the darkness of sleep as Mathew continued to hold me in his arms. And the skip button came back with the darkness. Yay! And we are not having peaceful sleeps again. Oh, hello, voice. Go away, voice. And bad dream, and his demon lord, and it's wedding day, but Matthew's a dunce and forgot our rings. And I think our son has stolen them, so I need to go find it. So let's go to the bathroom first. Because the bathroom's obvious. And we've been to the bathroom before, looking for the box. And, you know what, I'm gonna try to get my collar off, because, yes, when I go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, I apparently have a slave collar, and I'm not okay with this. So let's just try to claw this sucker off, shall we? This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be happening. I mean, come on, we know there's succubi, incubi, and devils in this world. Why would this be a shock? I wrapped my fingers around the collar and began to pull at it, trying to rip it apart and get it off my neck. It stretched slightly in my hands, but it remained fastened around my neck. No. I hastily ran my finger around it, trying to find a latch or closure. When my fingers came up with nothing, I began to panic even more. How could there not be a latch? I needed to get it off of me. I pulled at it again, practically choking myself in my efforts to remove it. The collar once again stretched in the direction of my pulling hands, but would not rip open. I mean, it's not a bodice, come on. Get off! I nearly screamed, clawing at the collar and yanking in different directions. Why was it on my neck? Why couldn't it come off? Why are we not saying the Latin name for my boyfriend and getting him here? Because this is freaky as fuck. At that moment, a word came into my mind, and we've said this before. It's how we got the collar off last time. Salvo. And we remove it because we're awesome. However, even though I got the collar off, I'm still going somewhere. Somewhere with a lot of people. And Diana. That is not my home, and not my wedding, and because of those things, I'm really stressed out, and I'm gonna start crying because, I'm pissed. And yeah, now they get to deal with me crying. Yay. I'm sure they have nothing better to do, right? And Diana and her council, and they try to send me home, but they fail. And I kind of got knocked on her butt, so, you okay, Dee? What about you, Diana? And they're cool, and she's gonna be fine, but they're going to try something else to get me home. So they take me to my room to rest, and you know what? Are you okay? Yeah, you got knocked on your butt pretty hard there by trying to send me home, and oh yeah, it turns out the Demon Lord is, maybe responsible for this. Diana stared at me, slightly shocked. Did she not expect me to ask? Well, we were not exactly kind to her in this verse, so yeah, I kind of don't mind her being a little baffled by why are you being nice. Anyway, she wants me to stay in my very luxe rooms, but you know what? I don't wanna. Let's go explore. Yay, exploring. Leaving my room, even though it might get me killed. I'ma go right. I think we've gone right before, so I can skip this, skip this, skip this. And we've come to another place. Where do we want to go? I would like to continue going right. Because, why not? Although apparently we've gone right before, so skip button's back. Yay! And we find ourselves outside, and Sarge is there, and he doesn't seem happy I'm there, so I decide to leave and go back to my room, and when I come back, there's delicious, delicious food, and you know what? Nums. Let's eat the stew. I actually really like stew. I should make some. Just eat it. Nom nom nom. And Diana's back, and they try to get me home, and they all fail, and then the boys fall through, and yay. Because the boys, at least, are not as pathetic as Diana's side. And I'm going to kiss my sweet fiancé who fell through because, obviously, priorities. I reached up and grabbed Matthew's face, pulling him to me, and kissed him. His eyes stared in shock before he melted against my lips and held my head in his hands, kissing me deeper. I closed my eyes in sync with his as I lowered my hands and wrapped them around his shoulders. I was beyond happy to feel him again. At that moment, I didn't even care how he had found me. I was just happy that he was there with me again. Aw, yeah, I can understand that, because last he knew, I was, on my way to go marry him. And then this happened, and we need to go kick your dad in the dick. Unfortunately, Mathew and I couldn't stay close for long. The fairies shouting caused us to pull apart and look at them. Ugh. Why, Faye? Why? And discussion, and what to do, and do we do a curse, or we do the trap? I say we should do the trap. Why not? Yay, we made a plan, because I'm the main character, coon. And we're discussing on what to do, and she doesn't want us to fight because, it's a war. But you know what? Me and my fellow sister wives, we can fight too. Diana squinted at me, pressing her lips together into a fine line. However, I meant what I said. We could fight too. Yeah, look at Twilla. She is clearly a warrior princess. She is going to go out there and just single-handedly kick everyone's ass.
You expect me to trust that you can fight in a war?
Yep. Why not? I fought you. I fought demons, or devils, I should say. But I'm fine.
Let me and my brothers train then. We're demons, for fuck's sake. You know
Exactly.
how to fight.
Pretty much. And we're gonna start skipping because we've seen all this before. Plans are made. And as we're walking back to our room...
Hey, what's wrong?
Yeah, we've had a stressful day, and... You know, I'm just gonna tell him everything that's wrong because he is a good, supportive boyfriend. It's why we're together. I let out a shaky sigh and looked to him, letting it go. Fighting urge, losing. Insert frozen joke here. Let it go, let it go. Never mind. I overcame that urge, even though I started. It's just unfair, you know? This whole thing has become a large, complicated mess, and I gritted my teeth and squeezed Matthew's hand back. I didn't want to complain. This, no offense, you were kidnapped on your wedding day by your murderous father-in-law. You have every right to bitch right now. Also, he asked. I'm pretty sure he feels more comfort knowing what's going on. As things were going to be fixed soon, but it was still infuriating to think that I couldn't do anything immediately. Yeah, I know. That sucks. Mathew slowly released my hand and wrapped it around my shoulders.
Hey, don't worry about it, alright? Think about it as a vacation or something.
Yeah, a vacation in which we train to go to war. Sweetie, what kind of honeymoon did you want? I'm curious now. A vacation? In a war zone? Mathew grinned and nodded, hugging me slightly to his side.
Yeah, a vacation to, see new sights?
Yeah, true. So, you're actually from these parts. Maybe not Lilith Castle specifically, but from this plane of existence. What's worth seeing? You know, well, a war is on. I couldn't help the amused smile on my face as Mathew tried to make me feel better. It was another reason why I adored him. He did his very best to make sure that I was happy. Oh. And I hope in and out of character, that I do as much as I can to make him happy. Despite the crappy situation we're in, I was thankful for that. I wrapped my arm around him and nodded. Thanks, Mathew. Mathew smiled and nodded before kissing my cheek.
You're welcome. Anything for you.
Aww, he is too cute. Mathew and I continued to walk down the halls of the castle until we arrived at the same ambassador room I had slept in before. And the skip button's back, so let's embrace the skip button, shall we? And talk, 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 and our son, and a really horrible nightmare has begun. You know what if I promise I won't run? Would you let me out of this cage then? I had to plead with him. If I was so important to him, then he cared enough about me to listen. Mathew, however, chuckled.
Promises don't mean anything here. The last promise made to me was that Pigfawn's word that he wouldn't hurt you. Well, you saw how that turned out.
True. Are we making stew out of him, by the way? I think I have a taste for it. But Mathew,
Do not call me that!
Mathew. His voice rang in my ears, violently pounding against my eardrums and causing me to wince violently. I cupped my hands over my ears, shutting my eyes from the pain, before feeling Mathew draw back, sliding his hand to the end of my chain.
I'm not in the mood to take your energy now. I'll
Oh,
come back another time.
boo. Well, this is not going well. And I wake up.
I'm sorry. Do you want a hug?
We have a bad dream, and yeah. Yes, I do want a hug. That was a horrible nightmare, watching you turn into your dad. Despite the nightmare, I still loved Mathew and needed him with me. I knew the dreams I was having weren't real. Well, I mean, I might be clairvoyant, you don't know. And, even if they were trying to warn me of something, Mathew was still the man I was going to be married to. I mean, we say that. The man I was going to be married to. Keep telling myself that. Mathew smiled softly before swiveling onto his knees and hugging me to his body, laying my head on his shoulder. I wrapped my arms around him and closed my eyes, taking in his reassuring scent. And that's when we get visitors, because... fuck if I know. And we're discussing things, and what are we going to be doing, and, you know what about you, sweetie? What are you going to be doing? Mathew looked up at me in surprise, a piece of jerky wedged between his teeth and lips.
Huh?
We're going to go fight in a war? What are you going to do, specifically? I fought back, giggling at the sight, but as everyone turned over and looked at Mathew, I relaxed a bit and waited. I was curious to see if Mathew had any stories of his own to tell. Yeah, sweetie. Tell me of your time in the demon dimension. To my surprise, Mathew swallowed the jerky in his mouth and shook his head.
No. I wasn't the fighting type.
Uh-huh.
Never have been, really.
Aww. I doubt that. Even Sam's like, bro, what the fuck? My mind flashed back to him fighting Malix. Exactly. I have evidence that says otherwise. And how he managed to not only duck and dodge Malix's gun, but also make Swiss cheese out of the devil in question. Why would Mathew lie? That is a very valid question. Also, Sam looks like he's not having it. Sam scoffed and spit into the fireplace, making us all look over at him. Yeah, Sam's about ready to drop a truth bomb on us. But I don't want to hear it, so I'm going to skip over it. And Diana's here, and it's time to pick a training teacher, and you know what? I'm going to take your boy toy. Let's go. I'm sure she'll be fine. It's time to pick my trainer, and I've chosen him. And we're off, and we're going to train, and he has asked me what weapon would I like to learn. I don't know. Surprise me. 'Cause, you know, clearly you would know better than me. Serio stared in surprise. What? I was ambitious enough to try anything. Why not? He probably knew more about weapons than I did anyway. Serio then gave a small smirk, before allowing black and purple mist to envelop his hand. I found myself growing nervous. What if he gave me a small dagger, or something really hard to learn? He does not dawn on me as he's that stupid. I began to regret electing for a surprise. Oh, come on! Surprises can be fun. Ooh, that's pretty. Eventually, the mist materialized into a strange object. A large, lavender triangle blade, sticking out from what looked like a round gauntlet. Ew, that does sound impressive. As Serio walked toward me, he formed a copy of the weapon in his other hand, and handed both to me, the openings on each gauntlet facing toward me. I raised an eyebrow at him. Was he really expecting me to stick my hand in those? Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's how it's wielded. Otherwise, well, I guess you could shot put it, but I think that might be harder.
What, afraid to try something new now?
Oh, fuck no, sir. I ate the pig stew yesterday. I shook my head. I had asked for this, and was confident enough to try them. I slid my hands into the gauntlets and felt my fingers brush against the inner handles, allowing me to grip the weapon in each hand with ease. Exactly! It's perfectly natural. This'll be fine. I lifted the weapons from Serio's grip and observed them. They seemed very light, almost feather-like, but I could feel energy pulsating from them. This'll be fine. What are these? I'm also curious because I actually don't know.
Gauntlet daggers. The human world has a similar version of these weapons called katars, if I'm not mistaken.
I actually don't know, but yeah, I believe it. They seem pretty light. Well, to be fair, I'm not 6'2" and dripping in muscle, so a light weapon is probably a good idea.
They may be light, but they can be incredibly deadly if used properly.
Exactly.
Imagine them as extensions of your arms.
Am I a Peridot? Do I have arm extensions and leg extensions to wear? I gulped. Would I be able to learn how to use these properly enough to defend myself? I wasn't sure. Serio walked away from me before forming a spear and gripping it tightly, ready to begin our session. Okay. If I remember correctly, we're about to enter a time section. We got this.
Trust your instincts. I'll
Okay.
go slow so you can adjust yourself to the weapon. However, I won't remain slow for long.
Alright. Bounce back and forth in place. Let's dance. I stared at Serio, now fully setting into what I had signed up for. Yeah, you're getting me to participate in a war. I was learning how to defend myself, and possibly how to kill someone else. Well, hopefully the kill someone else part will be day 2, not day 1. I felt a nervous shiver run up my spine before taking a breath and trying to relax my muscles. Serio seemed to take my breath as a signal to prepare, as he took a step back and righted himself with a stance.
Are you ready?
As I'll ever be. I nodded. I had asked to be trained. If I wasn't ready then, I would never be. Serio crouched down, gripping his spear, before lunging for me, ready to skewer me on its blade. Symbolism? I am going to dodge. I reflexively jumped away, avoiding the tip of his blade as I stepped to the side. I stared wide-eyed at how far he had thrust his spear. Symbolism? Jamming it all the way through the space I was previously in. Was he really trying to kill me? Well, I don't think he's here to kill you, but, you know, if you get a few scratches, would not surprise me. And I'm gonna parry. Yay! I couldn't help but smirk as I stepped forward and practically backhanded his spear with the gauntlet of my guitar, making it bounce away from my body and leaving his own body open for an attack. Woo! Go us. We are being awesome on day 1. I felt powerful as I readied to attack him. And I think we've seen what happens when we do. We train for a long time, everything is cool, and then, on a break, you really seem to care for Diana. A lot. Serio looked to me with a chuckle.
I don't just care for my lady.
Uh-huh. Are you her... whatever race it is you are, battery to her? That was obvious. The way he spoke about her spoke volumes of his affections for her, as well as the one life we lived together. As Serio looked to me, a flash of realization washed over his eyes. What?
You're human, so you would understand.
I might. Go on. Understand what? You're both pretty people? You'd make cute babies?
Love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very true. I stared at him, knowing the meaning of the word, but not understanding what he meant by saying it. Oh, lordy. My character suddenly took a turn into Stupid Land again. What about love? Don't you want someone to care about you?
Well,
Yes? Use your words. For a moment, Sario looked back to the saber in his hand before shaking his head.
never mind. It's nothing.
Oh, sir, what? I wanted to ask more, but a pair of footsteps echoed through the room from the door, causing me to turn around and see who it was. Aw, we were just talking about you, Dee. And skip, 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 and...
No offense to you, of course.
Of course. It's fine. It's alright. I'ma go. You two kids have fun. I understood. I also understand the skip button's back. And what to do now? Oh, right, Dan is leaving the room, and he is very much enjoying the view watching her go. So you know what? We get so few pleasures in war. I'll just, let him enjoy this. There was no harm in letting him be weird for a little while. As long as it's not weird with me, I'm okay. As he stared at the door, I stretched my neck. Finally, Sario snapped out of it and looked around me, blushing and wide-eyed. Aw, he's so cute. Someone likes Diana. I go back to my room, and... yeah, my sweetie's kinda gone cuckoo nutters. He's staring into fire in a really creepy way. And to break this spell, I'm going to try kisses, because why not? It's a magical world. It might work. I had to break him out of whatever spell he was consuming his mind, and there was no way in hell I was going to smack him. Well, I mean, not this verse, but... Instead, took his head... I think it should be instead I took his head. Again, I get this was somewhat done on a budget, but they really needed a proofreader. Or else they needed to practice reading things out loud. Ugh. Anyway, instead took his head into my hands and pulled him into a kiss, locking our lips with him and shutting my eyes. I didn't understand what made me do this, but I was determined to make it work. Kissy magic, go! I waited and waited until finally Mathew wrapped his arms around me and leaned into the kiss, letting me know he possibly broke through. I opened my eyes slightly to see his eyes closed, but his arms around my waist were secure and loving, just like how I remembered. Yeah, we're not concerned at all. As I slowly pulled away, Mathew opened his eyes and revealed their lovely ocean blue color. Perfect. However, his cheeks were a lovely contrast of red, which would be nice if we could see it in the art.
Hi.
Hey, sweetie. I'm freaked out by what happened when I walked in. Let's talk about it. I smiled a bit, giggling. Hey, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just looking at the fire. It's pretty warm.
Uh-huh. Have we not looked at fire together in the real world? Because I'm pretty sure I'd remember you going into a coma trance and developing a collar. And skippy time until we can get our next decision. Because, yeah, in between my hearing the voice and, what just happened to him, and he doesn't want to go to his brother's because he's being a proud little shit, even though it's like, dude, we're in over our heads, and, a freaking war is on. There's bigger stakes here than your pride. I'm I'm going to insist we get help. This was too mysterious and dangerous. We needed the help. Exactly. Mathew, we need to...
Please, just trust me, okay?
No. Mathew stared deep into my eyes, pleading silent for me to trust him. I bit my lip, still not completely sure that this was the right choice. As I slowly let out a whine of complaint, Mathew gripped harder on my shoulders, not enough to hurt me, but enough to emphasize his point. Don't care, we should be fricking getting help.
Please.
No. If this were at home and there was no war on, I wouldn't care, we'd work through this together, but... in over our fricking heads. Mathew seemed adamant. I swallowed my nerves and nodded slowly, taking in a breath and letting out a sigh. And we're falling into old traps of trusting him, yay! Because this didn't end badly last time. And Diana, and the next day, and... yeah, our guy and Diana are kind of fighting each other, and... you know what, I'm gonna defend my shirtless boyfriend. Because I'm trying to be supportive. Trying. I quickly reacted, not wanting Diana and Mathew to start fighting. Besides, Diana took us by surprise. Mathew couldn't have known. Well, I mean, this is kind of her castle. I rushed over and placed myself between Mathew and Diana, holding my arms out to stop her. Diana, hold on. Aw, look at him making dirt face again. Diana stopped and glared down at me, now turning her frustration towards me. We'll be fine. This is fine.
What?
Sorry, Your Highness, for nearly killing you. But please don't kill my boyfriend. I opened my mouth to speak before Mathew rushed around me and pressed his hands together, bowing his head.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you. I thought it was an attacker and...
Understandable, but we're in her castle. I think we're more or less safe. Also, yeah, sometimes the best way to de-escalate is just to apologize.
An attacker in my home? They would be dead before they even set foot through the gates!
Exactly. But yeah, everyone's kind of on edge. How about we all take several steps back from each other, take a breath, and really actually think about what is going on here. And speaking of needing to step away and take a breath, I have to cut the video here. So until next, Tacklicatella Kiddo.